Isabel worked 20 hours last week and earned $145.80. Adam worked 15 hours last week and earned $112.50. How much more does Adam earn per hour? Okay, so step 1 is reading and paraphrasing, which just means putting it in your own words. We know how much Isabel makes in a week, and we know how much Adam makes in a week. What we don't know is how much they make per hour, so that's what we have to find out. Our next step is to plan a solution. We know how much they made per week, but we don't know how much they made per hour. To find this, we take the total amount they made per week and divide it by the number of hours they worked. To find the difference in hourly salaries, we would subtract the two amounts. Now we have to solve. We can see that Isabel makes $7.29 per hour and Adam makes $7.50 per hour. To find out how much more Adam makes, we would take Adam's hourly salary, subtract Isabel's hourly salary, and you get 21 cents. And last but most importantly, we have to check our work. We want to make sure that we reread the problem and we really understand what the question is that's being asked. You want to check your calculations and make sure that you didn't make any silly errors. As you can see, we got our problem correct. Great job! In the blueprint of a rectangular room, the length is 1 inch more than 3 times the width. Find the dimensions if the perimeter is 26 inches. The first step is to understand the question. They give us the perimeter and we need to find the length and the width. The formula for a perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, or in expanded form, length plus length plus width plus width. Now it's time to plan our solution. We know the length is 1 more than 3 times the width. So we're going to call the width x, and we're going to call the length 3x plus 1. After that, we're going to plug those two let statements into the formula for the perimeter. Another important step in solution planning is using pictures or diagrams whenever possible. In this specific example, we're talking about a rectangular room, which makes it easy for us to draw a rectangle and label the sides. We label the sides with L and W and fill in the let statements. Now we have to solve. Plug the let statements into the perimeter formula. The first thing you do is distribute by multiplying. Next, you combine like terms that are on the right-hand side. Then, subtract 2 from each side to get x by itself. And finally, divide by 8 and you get that x is 3. One more step. We did find x, but we need to find the length and the width. So we have to plug x back into the length and the width formula. The width is x, so the width is 3 inches. The length is 3x plus 1, so the length when we plug in x is going to be 10 inches. And last but certainly not least, we have to check our work. We know the width is 3 and the length is 10. They gave us that the perimeter is 26, and this is how we can check our work. Plug the length and the width into the perimeter formula and see if it equals 26. And it does, so we know we have the right answer. build your confidence in solving any type of word problem. You did a great job. Thanks for watching.